Ooh, it was almost sideways. Luckily, I checked and fixed it. I also ate up enough time to where Chad will see a 3. There's a 3 for you, Chad. Always like to give Chad his 3. So we got a long drive, so why not listen to some long songs? Captain Wayne's Mad Music Hour Long Song Festival. Doesn't have a date on here. Just says Mad Music Hour number 19. So I figure it's somewhere around late 2005 or early 2006, something like that. I don't know. I'm debating on whether to stop for gas because last night there was a big explosion at the largest oil refinery on the West Coast. And usually when that shit happens, gas prices go up. So I'm wondering if I should go and top off my tank this morning instead of tomorrow. Guess I'll wait and see how the traffic is. This long song festival is in 6 parts, but for some reason, when I recorded it, instead of putting parts 1 through 3 on one disc and parts 4, 5, and 6 on the second disc, I put 1 and 2 on one disc, and then 2 and 3 on another disc. Oops. Yeah, put 1 and 2 on one disc, and then 3 and 4 on another disc, and then 5 and 6 on a third disc. So I'm going to have to change discs sometime during this. Come on, you guys. The light's still green. I can still make it. People are going too fast. They're all speeding, and they're all going to make me miss the light. Watch. Here I go, about to miss the light. Damn it. Yeah, the light still says don't walk, dude. The guy started to walk out in the crosswalk. I don't know what he considers long songs. Probably anything over like 4 or 5 minutes. Yes, it interrupted me again, Chad. You heard it. Chad loves it when I get interrupted by that. He's all like, "You got mail, Danny D. You got mail." Yeah, Chad, I heard it. It's not really mail. When you hear that noise, that's not really me being notified I got mail. It's me being notified by YouTube that someone has uploaded a video or has gone on live stream. But it still interrupts me. It still makes Chad happy to hear. Oh, there's all these cars. I'm going to just let them all go ahead of me. Because we're all going to the same place, and there's really no sense trying to get there before everybody, because everybody's just going to cut each other off, piss each other off. So I'd rather just hang back here and take it easy. Of course, this truck's not going to make the light. See, it just told you as it was happening. There's a cute blonde woman in the car behind me. Too bad you can't see her. I hope she's not going to be a pain in my ass driver. She's coming up alongside us now. I don't know if she's going to try and get ahead of me or what. Oh wow, look at that. What the hell is that? That's some big ass crane. Did you see it? Might have been at the top of the on-ramp just in time to see it. There's another big ass truck behind that. Can you see this giant crane thing right here next to me? Oh my gosh. Oversized load is an understatement. He's merging over into my lane. Because there's no room for him in that lane. I hope he's not going to try and make this turn up here. It's going to really mess up a lot of people's morning if he tries to go on this curve up here. I almost want to see him do it, but I'm getting the hell out of here. There's a very narrow little curve up here, and if that truck is gonna, yeah, he's coming up here. Whoa, what's going on now? Come on, you guys. Is everybody sightseeing or something? I don't know how that truck's gonna make it through here. It takes up like about a foot on the lane next to him. This guy in front of me is an idiot. probably on his frickin' phone, aren't you? Start the Long Song Festival. No, I didn't say long dong, I said long song. Alright? Put your mind out of the gutter. Take it away, Captain Wayne.
This is a Mad Music Show special. I'm Tim Ryan, guest host for this Mad Music Show, a 6-part podcast brought to you by the MadMusicArchive.com. Welcome to the Long Song Festival, and we are going to rock it out to start the show, or should I say, boogie.
song been going all over the land now, and the people been digging it, and you know we've been digging it. And that brings me up to about 2 months later. I was lying in bed one night. Yes, the same bed I was lying in before, and I was in the same condition I was in before. The only difference is I had a lady with me, my woman, so-called Jamaican. And we was lying there listening to a John Lee Hooker boogie record, and we just done your juices to make it juicy, baby. Not to mention by now we was up to 4 teaspoons of joy, and we was lying there also in the process drinking 4.5 bottles of Scotch whiskey, and by now we finished off 2 and a quarter bottles of Strawberry Hill. Ooh, we was lying there shake. And she looked over at me, and I looked back over at her. I looked her right in the eye, and I said, do you? She looked at me and said, do I what? Well, you know, that kind of shook me off, but I said, do you believe in the boogeyman? And I want you to know now, this chick was one of them straight arrow chicks from Roseport, Michigan. Ain't never done nothing in her life, still on the same as the marriage trip. She looked over at me right behind her and said, what kind of child is that? Oh, well, you know, I knew I was in light skin then, and I proceeded to tell her about the time I was lying in bed, all alone, listening to a John Lee Hooker boogie record with all the lights out and one small candle. I was lying there, and I just got into busy to make it too big, not to mention too busy to talk. So I was lying there just about ready to fall off me. So I heard knock the door. I said, who did? He said, me. I said, I don't know anybody named me. And I called my mother and father, because my mother and father was always down there in the main bedroom. When I wasn't doing every night of the problem. Yeah. And so, you know, I said, come on in. I'm going with the door, but you guys got to fix one of them. So I'm hanging out there. So I break out the light and chicken. I said, and she looked on me and she said, what did the boogeyman teach you? You know, I was waiting for her to say that, man. And I just on top of the start looking for this boogie upside down, roll all around underneath bed, back on top of bed, we got the phone, moved out the window, back in with me, moved downstairs to my mama's bedroom, but the door was locked, so there's in that boogie too. We moved back on down, we were all there just lying there, just shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. And she looked over me and she said, baby, you know the boogeyman should know how to teach you how to do the do. I want you to know that I learned how to do the do. Shake down the rhythm, and I've been doing the do ever since. And that brings me up to the next verse. I want you to listen closely now. I was lying in bed late one night, had my eyeballs full of I was feeling alright. I looked to the east, I looked to the west, Johnny to the boogeyman, doing his best. The boogeyman gonna get you. The boogeyman gonna get you. The boogeyman get you. Gonna get you tonight. Now it's right. That some of you people don't believe. That's right, you're sitting out there right now going, what kind of shine trash is this cat laying down? Well, I want you to know that the story's true and I can prove it to you. Here's what I want you to do. You people that don't believe me, and you people that do believe me, that want to have one heck of a time, I want you to go home tonight. That's right, climb into your birthday suit, get in the bed, turn down all the lights, put on one small candle and put on a record, a John Lee Hooker record. Yeah, then I just want you to lay there, you know it, 2 minutes of Jamaican, 2 grams, not to mention 4 teaspoons of joy, 4.5 bottles of Scotch whiskey, 2 and a quarter bottles of Strawberry Hill, and I'll be a damn fool now you don't see the boogeyman tonight, yeah.
Yeah, Catfish Hodge is from the Detroit area, where I hail from, and that's from his 1972 LP, Boogeyman Gonna Get You. Now, if you go over to catfishpond.com, you're going to find out that Catfish Hodge does have a CD, 20 years, retrospective of what he's been doing, and that's a track on there where it is called Boogeyman Gonna Get You, a live 1977 recording. One thing about Catfish Hodge, seems his followers are known as fish heads. Now, I want you to let me know in the forums on the Mad Music Archive if you've heard this on KMET or other underground FM stations. What's this? More boogie woogie? Or is it boogie woogie?
You know, I remember a few years ago, some funny things used to happen to me. About 1956, 57. At that time there was no blues scene or not really any kind of scene in London. And I used to go out and play my guitar in the streets and sing things with passing the hat down. I remember one particular night I was playing my guitar in a little alleyway just off of Water Street in Soho, and I got busted by the police. And as police came up, dragged me and my guitar and my hand full of pennies off to the police station. Anyway, the next day I had to appear in Marlborough Street Police Court, and it was quite a day. Police officer giving his evidence. I was proceeding in a southerly direction, my lord, when I heard strange sounds coming from a Wardour Place, my lord. A sort of boogie-woogie music was being played. On further investigation, I saw the defendant standing there with a guitar and an old hat on the floor, collecting pennies. Well, I decided that he was contravening a breach of the peace there, as there was a traffic jam about 5 miles long down Wardour Street, wondering what all the fuss was about. So then I arrested the defendant. Just one moment, officer. What is this woogie music here we're talking about? Oh, well, my lord, said the officer, getting out his notebook, obviously been doing up his homework. Is a kind of jazz rhythm music peculiar to the American Negro. Oh, what was the defendant doing playing this kind of music there in Wardour Street? Anyway, I got off with a caution. A year's conditional discharge. But I'll always remember that policeman and his boogie-woogie. So don't try to lay no boogie-woogie off the king of rock and roll. Sister, 'cause all you got I sold. You better leave at midnight and sneak into the one working out. I don't wanna hear no back talk. I'm speaking to no one. Shut your mouth. Everything is gonna work out tight if you ain't like you've been told. Just don't try to lay no boogie woogie on the king of rock and roll.
That's Long John Baldry, who unfortunately passed away this past year at the age of 64. That comes from his LP, It Ain't Easy. That, and along with Everything Stops for Tea, are now available on CD, finally, at johnbaldry.com. Rod Stewart and Elton John produced album sides on both of those for him. Now, these first two songs were never played on the syndicated Dr. Demento shows, but we do have evidence that he queued up Don't Try to Lean Boogie Woogie on the King of Rock and Roll to play just after his first Sunday night show on KPBC, May 2nd, 1971. And now a word from someone who will be on later in the show.
The future of the country is up to you. If you know a woman or man who wants to be the president of the land, well, then you must go down. Let them know that you're still in town when you're doing the voter registration raid. Doing the voter registration.
This is part 2 of the Mad Music Show. I'm your guest host, Tim Ryan. Well, we boogied, we rocked, we ragged. And now some bluegrass from outer space.
When I pulled old 307 out of Marsford, the weather station said storms all the way. They'd stuck me with a cargo of live chickens, a dozen drunken miners, and 5 all-over shriners. The brake tail lines all were worn and pitted. The gasket on the cargo hatch was gone. I figured we could get as far as Folks, but I didn't think we'd get much further on. And I'm looking for an asteroid named Resta. But really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of busing, third-class cargo and a rider's cuss, and I just might drive to blazes and not care. I chugged on up to Logos on our last fuse and prayed their engineers could heal my jets. 'Cause storms had broke the locks and freed the chickens who were crapping on the miners and running from the shriners. My jets were full of feathers and limp fezzes. My 2 latrines were backed up in the hall with chicken crap and ore dust on my main bridge. I could only hope that Phobos heard my call. 'Cause I'm looking for an asteroid named Resta. Really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of busting, third-class cargo and a rider's cuss, and I just might drive to blazes and not care. At Phobos Port, they held me up in docking, then stuck me off in Bay 117. The customs man walked in, breathed once and fainted, then got up, ran out and screamed for a fumigation team. The passengers ran through the door and jammed it. It took a quarter-hour to haul them clear. I found the bar and broke some regulations, then went out looking for an engineer. 'Cause I'm looking for an asteroid named Resta. Really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of busing, third-class cargo and a rider's cuss, and I just might drive to blazes and not care. I found Miss Jo Von Krugen on a bar stool, so drunk fresh chickens. If he tried to fix my drive so I could live that Florida life, he staggered to my ship and stood there laughing while the draggled spaced out chickens filled the air. He sat down on the nearest passed out Shriner and he said, just shoot this ship, it's only fair. But I'm looking for an asteroid named Restov. Really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of buzzing, third class cargo and riders cuss, I just might drive to places and not care. I called the third shift office and they told me, son, there's no replacement short of your next stop. I paid out 4 fat chickens for a patch job. Got my riders back on board, then he gave 7 more. God, they were Martian mercenaries, mean as cat dirt. And some damn fool miner offered them a fight. They was hacking through my backseat with machetes when I cleared that port and drove out through the night. Looking for an asteroid named Restov. Really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of bussing, third class cargo and riders cuss, and I just might drive to places and not care. I locked the ports and holed up in the cabin and listened to the ruckus in the rear. Then I got a wild idea and cut the G-force and let folks in file and all go mix up in free fall. Now there's my rusty engines toward that asteroid. When they ask me what my cargo is, I'll say it's free fall Martian stew and chicken gumbo. Lord, that station better not be thrown away. 'Cause I'm looking for an asteroid named Restov. Really, driver damn well better be waiting for me there. 'Cause after 15 hours of bussing, third class cargo and riders cuss, and I just might drive to places and not care. Yeah, I just might drive to places and not care.
That could be considered a trucking song. Rest Stop by Julia Ecklar, who you might not have heard before. Co-written with Leslie Fish, who you have heard before from an out-of-print cassette called Genesis. Julia Ecklar is most recently heard on a CD called To Touch the Stars, a musical celebration of space exploration from PrometheusMusic.com. Now we're going to do a little bit of a radio set, and to get it started off, here is Mike Agronoff. Now, you've heard Mike Agronoff before, but I don't think you have heard him do a narrative piece like this one.
When the broadcast room's a living tomb, cracked acoustic tiles, and you're left alone with your microphone and your playlist and your dials, and the hands upon the studio clock past midnight creep towards 1. It's time to take the air once more, and the graveyard shift's begun. The day shift and the engineers have all left hours ago. You close the heavy soundproof door and set your board aglow. Cue the first 2 records up, settle in your chair, uncap and snap the transmit switch, and you're on the air. There's magic in the radio, enchantment in the ether, a power born of mind and brain and yet a part of neither, a power to be reckoned not in kilowatts or joules, a means to let a single voice touch 500,000 souls. Oh, but when you work that graveyard shift from 1 a.m. to 5, you start to doubt that anyone's out there alive. The halls are lifeless, the phone is dead, and there's nothing quite so lonely as to call with kilowatts and reply here, silence only. They usually stick the rookie jocks in a lonely graveyard slot, but me, I broadcast nights by choice. I like that shift a lot, because when I get the lonelies, as I do from time to time, I recall the Sandman's final show of 1969. 1960 radio was awful at its best. I grew up with Cousin Brucey and the Wolfman and the rest. And between the fast talk and the hype and the acne lotion jingle and station breaks with sound effects, they'd maybe play a single. But that was all there was back then. And that was all we had. And nostalgia finds a way to sift the good from all the bad. And so intertwined was radio with fond scenes of my youth that is tinted with a rosy glow that overlays the truth. Oh, and summer parties at the beach, and every high school date, those midnight drives in my dad's old, studying until late. They're all movies in my memory. And behind them I still hear the Beach Boys and the Beatles and the Motown, oh, so clear to the counterpoint of DJ hype and ads for Rheingold beer. But then in '67, FM burst upon the scene, where once played only Bach and Brahms became a rock fan's dream. Between the sparse commercials, they played 3 songs in a row, and album cuts, and full-length versions played in stereo, and gone was all the mile-a-minute brainless DJ chatter and singing station breaks and other oral fecal matter. Instead, these guys with wit and charm told what they had to tell and spoke as if they thought that I might have some brains as well. I got to know them all by voice that summer, and come fall I'd hung around the station till I came to know them all. Bill Clancy in the morning slot, Aunt Stacy, Charlie West, and the Sandman. Well, he was different and apart from all the rest. Paul Sandman did the overnights. He had a special style. He was older than the others, been around a while. He'd segue different album cuts in a stream of conscious run, do theme sets, live concert tapes. Boy, he made listening fun. And though he must have known my name, he always called me Kid. But he let me watch him work, and he'd explain the things he did. And once or twice, he snuck me in the studio late at night and let me cue the tapes and records up to my delight till I wandered back home, bleary-eyed as it was getting light. And as the records spun, he sat and talked the days gone by when radio was younger. So was he. So was I. While round his lonely Kansas farmhouse snowdrifts blew and curled, the radio was a living color window on the world. He said, there was magic in the radio, enchantment in the ether, a power born of mind and brain and yet a part of neither, a way to take you miles and years by means unknown to science, but it's since become a jukebox, nothing more than an appliance. I can tell you got the itch, kid. You'd like to be a jock? Oh, give it up. The magic's gone. There's nothing left but schlock. You deal with all the crazies and the drugged-out suicide calls and the sponsors and the FCC who got you by the throat. And programming tells you what to play and they take no denying. You eat copy advertising crap you'd never think of buying. The hours are long. The pay is squat. Vacations... But then, the cut would end. And he'd face the light. And we've magic once again. Well, sure enough, he read me right. I guess he could recognize a little of his own obsession shining from my eyes. And when I left for school that fall in higher education, my first stop was to make a beeline for the radio station. Throughout my freshman year, I learned the ropes and paid my dues. I engineered, did commercials, swept, read the news. By the time I was a sophomore, I'd earned a weekly show. I was on the graveyard shift, but I was on the radio. And I learned Paul Sandman was a name that every DJ knew. The trade rags did his story. He got a piece in Newsweek, too. And sometimes playing album sides from my deserted station, I'd tune in his show in my headphones just for inspiration. And so it was on New Year's Eve of 1969. School was out, they'd all gone home. The station was all mine. Yep, there was I, the rookie jock, left holding down the fort, well stocked with day-old pizza pie and coffee by the quart. They had me working triple shift from 8 p.m. to 8, playing records no one listened to while partying till late. And CBS and hooked lines crossed the country to Times Square. And at midnight, we'd switch over to a live broadcast from there to hear the famous ball come down and ring in the new year. By 11:10, it got so dead, you just could not believe. Who the hell's listening to the radio New Year's Eve? So I queued up Tommy. That would kill a half an hour or so. Kicked off my shoes, plugged in my phones, tuned in the Sandman show. Something's different. Something's wrong. I knew right off the bat. He's playing straight top 40. His voice is sounding flat. There's dead air between his cuts. His spot's all on too low. Inside of 15 minutes, I knew something there was wrong. I let him start a record, dialed up his private line. He answered with his call letters, and I replied with mine. Well, hiya, kid. Hey, tell me, ain't you got a better way to spend your New Year's Eve than with some busted-down DJ? Heck no, I'm on the air myself. I got lots of time, and I listen to your show because it's better far than mine. But tell me, Sandman, what's with you? Is everything all right? Seems to me as if you're somewhat off your stride tonight. Everything is not all right, he answered with a frown. The Arbitron reports came out, and our ratings have gone down. And Harry Stein and programming's determined that the way to get the ratings back on top is dictate what I play. So here I sit with list in hand that says at 10:15 I should play the Righteous Brothers, followed by the Cream, and then a public service spot, and then some Moby Grape. Well, hell, they don't need a DJ to put this crap on tape. It's December 31st. The year is coming to an end, and with it ends a decade. And an era too, my friend. And in 27 minutes I'll switch off to Times Square. But when I return in 70, you tune in if you care to hear how good the radio could be, if it would dare. He broke off at that moment to cue up another platter, and I said goodbye. The Who were almost finished for that matter. And exactly 27 minutes later, more or less, on cue I flipped the switch to hook us in with CBS. And while thousands in New York bade fond farewell to 69, and Guy Lombardo and his orchestra played Auld Lang Syne, I raised my slice of pizza and salute to the new year, and once more to the Sandman at the end of his career. When the network show was over with, I went back on mic. I did some inane comment about the future of the like. Did a station break, queued a record up, and then plugged my headphones in and tuned the Sandman in again. Welcome, he began, to 1970 radio. You've noticed in the past a certain blandness to this show. Seems Harry Stein's determined what your music taste should be. Well, f*** you, Mr. Harry Stein. And f*** the FCC. I've had my fill of radio. This here's my final hour, but the door is locked and bolted and I'm on internal power, and I suppose they'll find a way to get me out eventually. But until then, you'll see how good the radio could be. And then the music started. And the magic came on strong, and how the sequence brought to light a hidden meaning to each song, and where he got those tapes and records I'll never know, old favorites I'd forgotten, live recordings from some show. You can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.
You can't always get what you want. Where have all the flowers gone?
The Beatles singing German, Dixieland on 78s, Benny Goodman, Walter Carlos, Bessie Smith, The Roommates. This is more than playing records. This is genius. This is art. You know, this is something all should hear. Damn, I'll do my part. I opened the equipment carton stowed beneath the board and rummaged through the junk there till I find the proper cord, patch headphone out to preamp in, adjust the input power, and the Sandman show gets relayed out through our antenna tower. I reach out to the telephone, dial WBVA, and it's answered there by Sharon Smith, their overnight DJ. Hey Sharon, Paul Sandman's just flipped Harry Stein the bird, and he's putting out the best damn radio you've ever heard. And there's a brotherhood amongst the radio voices of the night. They stand behind a fellow jock. They see he's in a fight. Sharon had to listen but a moment, then was gone to find a patch cord of her own to send the Sandman on. And then the phones that long I thought were dead began to light, as the calls came in from miles around from listeners in the night. Whence comes this wondrous music, they would ask, and I would smile. And how come I pick it up on every station of the dial? And through the night the signal spread from station on to station, as the DJ sent the Sandman and his magic crossed the nation, till Sharon called me, laughing, shouting like she was on fire, saying, "Listen! Someone's put the Sandman on the network wire!" That's right, the lines to New York were still hooked nationwide. I flipped the switch to listen in and laughed until I cried. The Sandman must have reached some hero New York engineer who put him on the wire for the whole damn world to hear. There was magic in the air that night. Enchantment in the ether. A power born of craft and pride, and so much more than either. And all across the country sat the overnight hardcore and shared the Sandman's magic. Till at 20 after 4 he stopped to say goodbye as they were breaking down the door. New Year's Day dawned cold and grey with just a touch of sleet, and many a jock by 9 o'clock found himself on the street. Me, I came off cheap. A reprimand was all I got. But New Year's night, a new voice broadcast from the Sandman slot. And since that night, the radio's become my occupation. I'm now a big shot DJ at a major FM station. But when the hours start to drag and the night's going slow, I cue up an album side, crank up my headphone stereo, and tune into the Sandman, now on public radio. And when the broadcast room's a living tomb of cracked acoustic tiles, and you're left alone with your microphone and your playlist and your dials, though the airwaves seem a graveyard of lifeless, whitened boom, there's always someone listening in, and you're really not alone.
Yes, the guy you've heard sing about his favorite diseases, Mike Agronoff, from a 1993 CD called Modern Folk Musician. Mike Agronoff hails from New Jersey and has a more recent CD. Check mikeagronoff.com. The Mad Music Show is brought to you by listeners like you, found at themadmusicarchive.com, where you can make a request in the forums, on the toll-free request line, 1-800-689-8312, or by email to Wayne at themadmusicarchive.com. I'm your guest host, Tim Ryan, with quite a few surprises for you here on the Mad Music Show. Coming up, one of those surprises, an unexpected radio set piece.
Whoa! See that bucket sitting right there in the middle of the lane practically? Well, as you might have guessed, I decided to get off and get some gas. That was a pretty interesting little recording, wasn't it? Kind of makes you wish you lived back in those days when radio really meant something to people. It wasn't just something that you listened to in the background. KMET was like that. So I got to hear quite a bit of it in the 70s and up to the mid 80s. And then in 1980, what was it, 86, something like that, KMET was sold and changed format to adult contemporary bullshit. All the disc jockeys from KMET kind of they were fired and they scattered to other stations. It's damn windy out here again. I can feel it pushing the car, trying to get me to go forward, but I can't. There's people in front of me. As you might have heard and figured out, Captain Wayne isn't hosting this show. It's being hosted by a guy named Tim Ryan, who was one of Captain Wayne's right-hand men on the Mad Music Archive. Come on, let me get through here. Come on, come on, come on. Just one more. Alright. I don't know know if we're gonna make this light. This is we're at the very end of a, well, now one person moved to another lane, so maybe. Still a long line of cars we got to get through. This isn't a very long light. Speaking of long, all right, you guys, light's green. Let's go. Are we gonna make it? I don't know. We made it through the yellow. Now where am I gonna park? I just don't know. Let's see, I think I can get in right here. We're on the opposite side of where we were yesterday. I gotta top this puppy off. I didn't even see how much gas was, or if it went up overnight after that refinery explosion. I'll find out in 5 seconds. 4, 3. Stand out there in that wind. Well, price didn't go up yet. But it's still gonna top this thing off. Well, I'd show you my receipt, Chad, but there's an impatient person sitting behind me wanting to get up to this pump, so I guess I'll be a nice guy and get the hell out of here. I forgot I gotta change the CD too, dang it. And it's done. Wind is fierce out there. Can you see it here? Give me a look over there. Can you see those palm trees? Look at those palm trees. Blowing like crazy. Alright. Back to some long songs. What's wrong with my voice?
This is part 3 of the Long Song Festival here on the Mad Music Show. I'm your guest host, Tim Ryan. Now, what we're going to do is go back, way back, and then take a look at the future from back then. But first I want to let you know that this Mad Music Show was produced February 19th, 2006.
February 19, 1978. February 19, 1983.
The year is 1983. 2,000 tomorrows from now. The world you live in is dramatically different. Now, exposure to unprocessed air for more than 30 minutes has been declared hazardous to your health by the Surgeon General. Vehicles run noiselessly on tracks within tubes. The driver simply selects his terminal destination and then relaxes or works during the trip. Major traffic arteries automatically link vehicles with a common destination. They are pulled by a single high-efficiency motor car to conserve energy. Centric's picture phone systems are now in wide use in residential areas. Litigation still delays their installation at pay telephones due to the first arrest for indecent exposure by long distance. An aggressive Congress has succeeded in declaring American telephone and telegraph a corporate monopoly. The 17 new companies created by the breakup are responsible for information calls being dropped to a reasonable 50 cents each. Medical science announces the last known case of cancer was eradicated in Mombasa, Kenya in December 1982. The medium known as radio has survived, but it bears little resemblance to the archaic technology of the 70s. Tape has become obsolete as a means of recording and playing sound. Now, a mini computer's digital memory stores up to 2 continuous hours of music per punch card. The frequency range of radio stations has been expanded to 25 hertz through 20 kilohertz. Because of the cable, all signals are equal in strength and quality. Instantaneous feedback is now universally used to determine ratings. Every station is equipped with electronic readouts showing the exact number of receivers tuned to their channel at any given moment. The Arbitron book for Los Angeles is now 700 pages long. We take you now to a radio station in 1983.
You on K9 Kid Power Radio. That's the big one. C-Spot Dick Jane from the supergroup Minneapolis St. Paul. You got the squirrely thing to do. Billy Squirrel with the satellite sounds for listeners 9 and under. K9 Kitty Radio.
K9 Kitty Radio. At last, an erotic movie for 9-year-olds and under. Tiny Throat. See what happens when an innocent game of doctor gets out of hand.
Tiny Throat. It'll make your tinker toy.
Complete news next time, K9 Kid Power Radio. Give us 15 seconds of your time and we'll give you the world.
Watch for the mobile abortion clinic in your neighborhood. Open this week from midnight to 4 a.m. in the alley behind the Dixie Motel.
Here's the news. A wink is a wink for all you people who don't want to think.
This is Barbara Walters with the news. Washington, 2 people. Newark, a windmill, and an armadillo. Details of these stories when I return.
The news is brought to you by Pennywise Pound Foolish, the leading financial magazine aimed at that group with the greatest purchasing power, 9 and under. That's you. Insist that your mommy or daddy read you this week's issue tonight.
Barbara Walters again with the news. The infamous Carter tapes are in the news again today as newly elected U.S. President Idi Amin announced the entire Carter tape library would be released to the American public on his own Fat Black Cat label. Mamie Eisenhower revealed today she had recently undergone a sex change operation. Gordon McClendon today announced plans to sell NBC, saying, "This is absolutely the last of my networks I plan to sell." In Washington today, 2 people, and in Newark, a windmill and an armadillo. And finally, in this hour's news, the radioactive cloud is over Little Rock moving toward New Orleans.
K9 News.
It's nothing intellectual.
K9 News.
If you're intellectual.
Somewhere in this great city of ours is Sork, the rabid dog. Take to the belly of that dog. $1,000 bill from K9 Radio. Yes, it's another K9 Kid Power contest. It's a simple $1,000 to you if you grab the right rabbit dog.
Hey, here's the big one. This week's fastest rising record on the old top 9. It's the Brass Balls and Gerber's Straight Beef Blues.
Hey, Bernie's this next spot taper line.
You got live copy.
Hey, if it ain't the Foxy secretary lady with a laser beam in my... Hey, what's happening, honey?
The program director wants to see you in his office, Billy.
PD wants to see me.
Uh-huh.
What did he say what it was about? Probably just a little talk. Sure, what else could it be? You haven't seen anybody new hanging out around her, have you?
No.
How were the daily overnight arbitrons? You know, I was kind of sick for half an hour yesterday, and
I haven't seen them.
Oh, I've got it. They're going automated, right? Aren't they? You can tell me.
I don't think so. Although, we did get a new coffee machine.
By any chance, have you seen any audition tapes coming in lately?
No.
Did you see that blind box ad in R&R and Broadcasting? You know, for a kid-oriented station?
I never read it. I have Billy's squirrel, Mr. Robin.
Come in, Billy.
Hey, Biff, great sweater.
Thanks, Billy. Say, I'm dropping the Brass Balls from the Big 9 playlist, and when you played it just now, we lost 7,000ths of a share on the Media Pulse Instant Feedback Board. I mean, there it is in Dayglow
But
Orange.
Biff, they're headlining my disco video hop this Saturday.
Take them off.
You bet, Biff.
Hey, great shoes.
Thanks, Billy. That's all.
Oh, thank you, Biff. Oh, and hey, that's a great idea to take them off.
I gotta listen to some of these audition tapes.
Here are the overnight ARPs, and that record promo man is still holding on line 3.
Tell him I'm in a meeting.
I already told him that.
Well, tell him the meeting is lasting longer than I anticipated. Let's see now. Uh-oh. That's bad. That's bad.
Oh, but that's good, that's good.
Oh, no, they won't like that.
Oh, but they're like that. Christ, that half a point among women who prefer Hustler to Playboy? But we're up a quarter point among men with vasectomies.
The station manager would like to see you in his office, Biff.
Did he say what for? We aren't going automated, are we? I mean, they got that new coffee machine.
You haven't seen any strangers around the station in the past few days, have you? You know, hey, never mind.
I have the program director.
Come in, Biff. That'll be all, Mildred.
See, that sure is a great time, Mr. Cartwright.
Thanks. Have you seen the ARBs, Biff?
Yeah. Hey, my vasectomy campaign really paid dividends.
But what about those other 139 categories, Biff?
We were off the air one night from 2 to 4 a.m. That really hurt us. We were only half power all Sunday morning. Hell, if we'd only hired that consulting engineer.
Hey, Biff, you know I'm on your side, but I got to answer to the old man with these figures.
Oh, but if I could have just run that $100,000 ripoff.
Hey, I'm in your corner all the way, you know that. But here's the demographic picture, and there's the old man.
And I wanted that new jingle package.
I don't know, Biff. Much as I love you, and I do, like a brother, you know I do. Still, as that old Zen story says, change is inevitable.
Hey, I was just thinking of that old story earlier today, and I couldn't agree more.
Say, did you get a chance, by the way, to read my memo about changing format?
No, Biff. I guess I overlooked that. What did it say?
Well, I call it Punk Country.
Punk Country. I like it.
Can you pitch it to the old man?
Oh, no, I couldn't do that. But I'll back you up all the way while you pitch it to him. Come with me. Say, Biff, you haven't noticed any strangers around the station lately, have you? Executive types?
It's open. Come in, come in, come in. Sit down. So, you two wise guys, you making the money for me today with your K9 woof woof kid radio? Huh? The little bastards. What do you want now?
Well, Biff here felt a format change might boost the old ratings a bit, you know? Kind of brighten things up.
All right, go ahead, knock me out.
Well, I call it Punk
punk country.
What? Punk country? What the hell's punk country?
Well, here, I'll just play this record to give you an idea.
Don't put that on. I don't want to hear music. It makes me crazy. Give me the lyric sheet. I'll read about your punk country. Let's see here. I want to whip your cow. I want to whip your cow. Show me how. I want to hear her moo. So do you. What the hell is this punk country? The stockholders will be all over me. You haven't seen any strangers around, have you? Never mind. I used to have a nice, simple little operation here. 15 minutes of the U.S. Army chorus, 15 minutes of the men in blue, and Garner Ted always paid his bill on time. Now look at me. I got a sister station called K-Gay. I'm programming for 9-year-old kiddie people, and you wanna whip my cow? Get out! Go! Get back to where you once belonged!
Welcome back. The big ass is here to see you.
Tell him he'll have to make an appointment.
He has an appointment.
That's impossible. I make it a policy never to grant them.
You made it when he got you those 200 tickets to the Bob Dylan Charo wedding.
All right. Send him in, but all he's got are has-beens.
Hey, look who's here. It's the big S.
Hey, S. I'm kind of busy, so what do you got?
Oh, you'll love this. The new Elton John.
Oh, not another comeback try. The man's old, fat, and bald. Why doesn't he give it up? What else?
I got the new Beatles.
No, they should have never got back together. Lost $27 million on that reunion concert. I'm sorry, Big S. They just don't fit my format. You know how that is.
What exactly is your format now?
Well, it ain't this.
I got one last one here. A new group. Call themselves the Stiffs. Play something they call punk country.
Punk country? Now, this is strictly confidential, S. I may go punk country. Not a word now.
Hey, man, you know you can trust me.
Biff Robin here.
Oh, hi, Biff. This is Jeff Cohen over at K-Goy. I hear you're going punk country.
Oh, no truth to it at all.
You going to the R&R convention next week?
Yeah, but I'd hardly call it going. Just a short stroll down the hall to the televideo room, turn on channel 202 and plug yourself in. Sure not like the old days when we used to really go there. You go to a strange city, you meet all the guys, you have a few drinks, you talk business, compare stories, get laid. Those were the days. Say, you remember the 1980 convention? They had that great symposium with Patty Page, Connie Francis, and Helen Reddy.
Oh, you bet. I won the award that year for the best use of tie stick in album promotion. How could I forget? You remember that 1977 convention in Dallas?
Hey, you mean when that guy tried to get all the record people and the radio people together by having a square dance?
Oh, what a great convention.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that guy had something. Maybe we should have square danced together.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know. Here we are 6 years later going through the same stuff with each other. You dancing your dance, me dancing mine.
Huh?
You know, all the hype, the insincerity, the bullshit.
You want to change that? You want to change the whole radio and record business?
Well, now, how about the Stiffs? Are you going to be the one to break punk country or not?
Well, I don't know. It's not really in my flow, you know. Why don't you bring them back when you get KJR and KHJ?
Quiet! Here comes the old man, and he's got something to say, and here it comes. I'm changing the format. I'm going punk country, and I don't want no arguments about it. You hear me? Now, get that baby bullshit off the air and let's boogie, partner!
Now, K9 Kid Power Radio leaves the air forever. This is Billy Squirrel tucking you in. Nighty-night.
Punk country.
Hey, you freeloading fathers and redneck mothers. Now, there's a sound mean enough for you. Truckers, convicts, and sandhogs. The dirtier you are, the better you like us. So you juvenile delinquents rip off someone's radio. Lay back and keep with a hot beer, crowbar, and me. I'm Billy Goat, and I'm a country punk. I wanna whip your
Zork, the canine greased pig. Stuffed in the orifice of that pig's body is a not-so-clean, not-so-crisp $1,000 bill from Canine. Up Yours Radio. The rules are simple. $1,000 to you if you grab the right greased pig.
This hour's news is brought to you by Kicker Boots. The boots with the pointed toes for kicking corners.
How's it coming, Delmas?
Well, pretty good, Leon. Say, did you hear about that guy over at the state prison that tried to eat his way out of jail? He was swallowing all the dirt, you know, so there wouldn't be no evidence. Got too fat for the tunnel.
Well, here's an amusing item. Guy tried to skin his wife.
Hey, how'd that chicken basketball game turn out last night, Leon?
I don't know. I left after 17 overtimes with the score still tied 0-0 and 329 chickens dead.
Well, here's a farm report. This farmer walked into a drugstore in Atoka, said, "Give me a jar of mustard." Druggist told him he wanted the grocery store across the street. That's farm report.
Looks like it might rain.
That's the news, and it's our views. If you don't agree, you'll get screwed.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Get screwed.
This is former naval officer, former farmer, former President Jimmy Carter. Tired of not being able to talk when you damn well want to? Be a road hog. Your friends won't need their ears on when you talk to them on your new Road Hog 50,000 watt clear channel CB unit. Talk to all your buddies on the Alaskan pipeline. Ask for the Ethel Merman autograph model.
Billy Goat, country punk.
All right, put your boots on. It's gonna get deep. Here's the Stiffs.
Shaking in the breath and picking up dough. Dance with a guy whose ratings are low. RCA, MCA, promenade to the KHJ.
Country KHJ.
Give that nice media squeeze. Forget about those ARBs. Round and around and a do-si-do. The Osho PD. Say hello to Chicago. Program director, circle left. Promo men, circle right. Skip right up and meet in the center. Kiss and hug, a real tight.
Yeah. Tomorrow Radio, produced by TM Productions, Dallas. Copyright 1977. So, what of tomorrow? Technology is often running in quantum leaps. Radio may be linked by a mere thread to the customs of today. Two things are certain. It will still need listeners, and it will still have programming and marketing problems. On Side 2, we invite you to hear how TM is developing tomorrow's creative solutions right now.
Yes, Tomorrow Radio from TM Productions from 1977. Unfortunately, I only taped Side 1, the funny side, didn't tape Side 2, the big sales pitch side. You can be sure when radio people heard that in 1977, 1978, they were getting their money together to buy jingles from TM Productions. We'll be back with the next hour after this word from the National Association of Broadcasters.
Radio? Why should I advertise on radio? There's nothing to look at, no pictures.
Listen, you can do things on radio you couldn't possibly do on TV.
That'll be the day.
All right, watch this. Okay, people, and now when I give you the cue, I want the 700-foot mountain of whipped cream to roll into Lake Michigan, which has been drained and filled with hot chocolate. Then the Royal Canadian Air Force will fly overhead towing a 10-ton maraschino cherry, which will be dropped into the whipped cream to the cheering of 25,000 extras. All right, cue the mountain. Cue the Air Force. Cue the maraschino cherry. Okay, 25,000 cheering extras. Now, you want to try that on television?
Well...
You see, radio is a very special medium because it stretches the imagination.
Doesn't television stretch the imagination?
Up to 27 inches, yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, sorry about interrupting there. I had to turn the engine off, and I forgot that would turn the radio off. Oh, well. Now why am I sitting here? Well, oh no. That last bit was Stan Freberg with Dawes Butler. You could even, well, if you knew what it sounded like to go on the Adventure Through Inner Space ride at Disneyland, you could tell that was the same voice, Dawes Butler. All right, I gotta go. I was trying to stretch it so that Chad could have a 3 at the end, but it's just not going to work. I'm not going to sit here for another 3 minutes, Chad. Sorry. I'll let you see the 3 on the... Well, you can't even see it there. There it is. There's a 3. Try and get it in the middle of the screen. All right. Deuces. Peace out. Peace tea out. IBC root beer out. 10-4 over and out. 750 and out. Boy. Click.